Okay, so yesterday I'm having lunch with my girlfriend. I leave. Now there was a thunderstorm, huge thunderstorm yesterday.
Okay.
Now I don't know if you were in South Windsor, but there was a huge storm.
Yeah, I was at the school. Like, it was sun, and then it was just downpour. Literally at 3:30 when we were, like, dismissing the kids.
I know, and that was not supposed to happen.
No.
And of course it happens when you're dismissing the kids,
Yes.
because that's the way it always works, right?
Yes. Okay, so thunderstorm.
Yeah, so I'm there, and then I leave, and she left before me, so I'm heading out to my car, and I hit my remote, and my car, I always lock my car, and it doesn't open. So I'm like, okay, and then I start immediately thinking, well, the battery, usually you get like a warning, you get in the car, and the car will tell you your battery's getting low.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, like the notifications.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I'm thinking, okay, my car's like pretty well brand new. What the heck's going on? So I'm like, okay, it's me. No, I keep trying, right? Like that insecurity, like you start, yeah, it's just me, right? I'm trying everything. I'm like, okay, I'll go in through the trunk.
I know, but then you're like embarrassed. You're like,
Totally.
you're like looking around, like,
Yes.
you're like opening it.
Exactly.
And then, sometimes I'll be like, is this my car? Because I have like I have a Ford Escape, so there's like 8 million of them in Windsor, and I'm like, is this my car?
That's
like,
exactly what I did. I checked the license plate because
Yes.
I'm like, maybe there's another white one.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this is my car.
Yes.
But you're right. Like, you're so embarrassed because you're in a public place. It's like, when I've been distracted and you're trying to remember where your car is in the parking lot. It felt like that. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? So then I'm thinking, okay, I had a glass of wine, so like maybe that's messing me up. But no, come on, Colleen, you're Irish, you're fine. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? So then I'm like, okay, you know what? Just go back in and ask for help. So I go back in, and 3 guys come out to help me. They were so nice. They're like trying to figure it out, and they're like, and then they're like, okay, you're a chick, right? So this. And then the guy's like, well, pull out you know how you pull out your manual key? I said, yes, I do know how to do that. So I took that out, but then nothing was working. But then what was really weird was people started coming out of the other buildings, and they couldn't get into their cars either. I'm not kidding you. Like you said, because I don't watch this movie, but
like yes, it reminds me of Stranger Things.
Okay,
because
so why?
Because they have in the most recent season, it's like all about like electromagnetic fields. So like the magnets will fall off the fridge, or like their devices won't work right because there's like a force taking it out. So when you texted me this, I was like, this is weird because I'm watching it right now.
Right.
And you said it happened to other people, which is
100%.
Like the whole strip of people couldn't get into their cars.
It wasn't just the strip. It was people across. It was people in that entire parking lot.
Like their things wouldn't work.
They couldn't. So the only people that were able to drive away at the time were a lot of people don't lock their cars. I learned that.
What?
Oh yeah, I learned that. I always lock my car.
Yes.
But so many people were like, oh, I don't lock my car anyway. So
What?
they were able to get into their car.
No.
Yeah. So I could, and then I was I was terrified. I was like, maybe I'm afraid to shut my car off. Like,
yes.
was it? But it was literally everybody in that parking lot.
So you said they figured out how to pop the thing off.
Right.
So once you got in, like, did it start fine?
Well, I had to use the manual.
Oh my
right?
God.
Which it did start. Like my car, to get in, I got in manually, which I discovered now, which is brand new. And of course, once I was in the car, it did start, but it was the remotes.
So did you lock it when you got back home?
No.
I wouldn't have either.
Right, I was
I
terrified.
would have just taken everything out.
Right, the only thing I had in there was my sunglasses.
Yeah.
So I took my sunglasses out,
Yeah.
and it's exactly like that's how a chick thinks, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work tomorrow?
Yeah.
So I left it open, and I checked it this morning, and it was fine. So you must have a crazy car story.
It's not that crazy. That's not like
Well,
that.
mine's
That's
strange.
weird.
Mine's weird,
Because it
bizarre.
happened to other people, but mine was like when I first got my car, I had a gray one. Now I have a white one.
Okay.
But same car.
Okay.
So it was my first brand new car. Okay.
Nice.
My dad had helped me buy it.
Oh, nice.
So he's like, take good care of it. So I like drive it to Windsor because I'm not from here. So I'm like driving through Windsor, whatever. It's been like 2 weeks I've had the car. I'm at an intersection and it has that eco thing where it shuts down. Like if you're at an intersection, the motor turns off. So it saves gas or
yes.
environment or whatever.
Yes.
So it shuts down. So I'm used to it. So I'm like sitting there in silence. And then it's a green light. So I go and the car doesn't move.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, it was one of those like, is it me? Like, am I pushing the gas right now? Like an out of body experience.
Because it's new and you're like.
Yeah, it should go. And it doesn't shut off. It just like, I don't know what it does, but it like shuts it down.
Right.
But you should just press it and you hear it, like you hear the car start again and go. That's what happens. But it didn't. It just sat there. So I'm like, I'm on Huron Church.
Oh no.
At like that huge intersection right by the bridge.
Oh,
and I'm like,
no.
what is happening? So I put it into park, turned the car off, turned the car back on, and it went. But I'm like, okay, I can't be like on the highway and this happens or something. Like,
no, because
or like
it's
turning
very
left and
dangerous.
people can't get around. Like, I can't have that happen. So I had to like bring it in. And it turns out it was like, something was wrong with the car.
But see how you immediately thought it was you too?
Yeah, because I was just like, okay, I'm pressing the gas, right? Like in my head, I was like, go.
Right.
But then I had it the next whole week, like before I could get the car in, and it was doing it.
Right.
Like, but sporadically, like sometimes it would do it, sometimes it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It was just weird, but I'm like, why do I have to put it into park, turn it off, turn it back on, put it into drive, and then go? Like, that's so dangerous.
That would be really hard to get around that way.
Literally, can you imagine every time you stop at a stop sign?
Yeah. Talk about an
Supposed to-
anxiety rush.
Save the environment. You're like spending 8 million
Right,
putting
restarting
fumes
it every
in the
time.
air. No, it's terrible.
Restarting the car every time.
Yeah, but then I got another one and it was fine.
But I like how you said, you know, I put my foot to the gas. It should have gone.
Yeah.
Because that's to be like,
Go.
right? I when you know you're at the gas station and I'll have a guy go, what's the motor?
I don't know.
No, so now because I'm like,
Now you know.
now you're not gonna do that to
You're
me.
like, oh, the
so I
motor?
go, it's a 305. It's a 305. How many cylinders? Now I hate saying that because guys are like, what? Because it's a 4-cylinder.
Okay.
And guys are like, it's got to be an 8-cylinder, you know. But at least I can say the 305 now. I have no clue what that means.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter because in my way of thinking, like I'm sure you just said it too. It's like that's the gas pedal, that's the brake.
Yeah.
I take it in for an oil change.
We're not in the Flintstones. We're not. No. Terrible.
That was absolutely awesome. So Stranger Things, and it's not even Mercury retrograde anymore.
No, I was
so
like,
what's going
full
on?
moon. What's happening?
Oh, I think there is something going on with the moon.
That's probably it then. That was your
Absolutely.
car.
All right.
I'm telling you.
So, guys, be careful when you're in a parking lot. You never know what's going to happen, or when you get a new car and you're trying to save the environment. And don't forget, take off those underwear and keep flying.